blog, and we're going to work around a blog. But however, I know some of you in the room do podcasts. I know some of you in the room are happy to do video. The same principle will apply across the board. But today, ultimately, we're going to look at getting a piece of blog content onto your website ready to go. If you are creating a video, we would hopefully put that video on your website as a blog at some point anyway. It's just the whole point of recording it. And again, if you have a podcast, it might be an idea to share that podcast episode in a blog at some point anyway too.
Do we have a minute or so for me to just demonstrate why blogs are so important again?
Yes.
We do. Let me do a quick screen share over here onto Google. We were talking, let's begin. We were talking to someone yesterday. That's our thing where we
have to cut the beginning
off. The video off. We were chatting to someone yesterday who was kind of going, why should I use blogs, etc. And we had to explain to them, remind them, and I think that's what we're doing now, how relevant and how important blogs are. So quick raise of hands, who has ever typed a question into Google?
Yes.
Everyone? Yeah, I presume everyone with your cameras on. So if we ask, how many people, no, that won't be a good one if I ask a question about Google. How many podcasts are listened to?
It's because people are watching it.
I know, in the UK. So we're asking a question of Google. Now, the answer is not some person in Google sat there getting all this information. The answer are blogs. Cybercrew blog, Statista Audio, that'll be their blog, updates, media. These are all different words for blogs on people's websites. So when when we talk about going networking, for every person you meet networking, there's X amount of people asking the same type of questions about what you do on Google. This is where we want you to be providing that answer. This is what we're literally talking about, your content working hard for you. So when Emily's doing a blog walkthrough now, we want your blog to be the answer when someone types that relevant question in, for example.
Yeah. Can you go straight into the presentation?
Of course I can, my darling.
Okay. So are we all ready? Hold on to your hats. We're going to do some work in the next hour, 55 minutes. Okay, next slide, please, Alan, as well. You're driving.
I know, I'm trying to get...
Too many windows.
Too many windows.
So what we're going to do today, we are going to get it done, quite frankly, because a lot of you hear the words and you procrastinate. We're going to get...
Potentially. You can't say that. No, it's 2022.
My first question to you all would be, from the session we did a couple of months back on the one-page marketing plan, has anybody yet actioned a one-page marketing plan? Put your hands up if you have. Everyone's hanging their heads in shame. No, not me.
Nicola's hands up.
Nicola's hand. Well done, Nicola. Gold star for
She's
you.
my favourite person called Nicola in the digital circus.
Right, just to remind, we're not going to go through this whole thing because, again, the training is on the dashboard for you to fill out in your own time, and this is very small to read. The whole point of doing a one-page marketing plan, and we discussed this in the training a couple of months back, is to give you a core understanding of why you are showing up for any given time period. Okay, so this could be that your overarching year, this could be your overarching quarter, this could be just for the month ahead. And it is a really, really important and valuable exercise to undertake, because it's going to tell you who you are talking to, why you are talking to them, what your difference is, what your value prop is, and the tactics and the strategies that you are going to take in order to achieve that goal for that quarter, month, year, whatever that is. I would highly recommend, if you haven't yet done that training and you haven't taken even just 20 minutes to get a high level version of this done, go and take that time this week before we get into the height of Christmas and the hubbub of all of that. Go and do that. Get a high level understanding of what it is you're trying to achieve for the quarter. Because when you do this, showing up on social media, showing up with your content, having a plan for your content becomes so much more streamlined, because there is a point to it. We're not just putting content out there for the sake of it and hoping it sticks. You have a designated goal and you are working towards that. And every last part of that strategy is another step forward to achieving that goal. Planning is key. It really is. So for us, For example, we are very much talking about, as you know, the Digital Circus Live. That is at the end of Q1 of next year, the end of March. Very clever that how we did that, you know, in terms of quarters. We've done it in the first 3 months of January, February, March. That is a very focused attention on getting bums on seats to our event on the 28th of March.
What's this Digital Circus Live you talk about? Actually,
people
no point. No, I think everyone here is already coming.
So please, please, please don't procrastinate on this. Get a piece of paper and a pen, just do some scribbles, who you're trying to talk to, what you want to talk about, what your value proposition is, and the tactics and the methods that you would like to take on to try and move yourself further towards achieving that goal. Okay. So what we're going to do today, we're going to assume that you have already done this as a marketing goal and you have your one page done already. But thinking about the quarter ahead, so January, February, March, do you have a goal in mind that you would like to achieve in the next quarter? Today, I would like you to write something down that you would like to achieve in the next 3 months. In fact, take 30 seconds to a minute now, write something on a piece of paper, one thing that you would like for your business to do in the next quarter that we can help support with this content today.
Does it have to be a realistic goal, or could we?
It's got to be a realistic goal.
So we can't make $1 million in the next quarter.
Well, that could be realistic.
I like that attitude. It's my type of attitude. Present a
Harry Potter tribute, brilliant.
And yeah, feel free to write them in the chat, share them out. Good, a bit of accountability. I might take a screenshot. No, I will take a screenshot.
You will take a screenshot.
Sorry. Mine was very uncertain. Should I write ours?
Yeah.
More bottoms on seats than ever at the Digital Circus Live.
So Nicola, I'm going to read these out just to keep people understanding. So Nicola wants to sell more boxes of her natural nail polish remover sachets. Brilliant. That's a physical product that you're looking to get extra sales on. Brilliant. Launch my Elevate marketing service from Vishali. Brilliant. Jackie wants to launch or run and visit an online course.
Whilst you're typing, Nicola, go onto TikTok and find Splesh Loo Roll. Splesh Loo Roll, currently tearing up TikTok, right? And they sell loo roll worth SP.
Spoiler alert, we have 60 rolls in our house right now. We bought
60 rolls of Splesh Loo Roll because I bought into the hype. Let's just put it out there.
We've got sell 30 places on the mindful way. Brilliant. There's a numerical, there's a number there that you're striving to achieve. Brilliant stuff. Jackie's launch, of course, brilliant. Anthony, sell 20 of my epic family portrait sessions. Brilliant. Okay. Fill up your NLP practitioner course. Minimum of 8 people starting in March. Again, that's a brilliant number. Thinking of 3 months or 3.5 months nearly to kind of get that done as well. How many people per month do you need to achieve for that? Brilliant. Okay. Any more for any more? 80 tickets for Murder for Money. Again, brilliant goal there. There's a realistic thing that we are trying to work towards. Okay. So when it comes to our content that's going to support that, we recognise, and again, we've done the content planning workshop as well a couple of months back and last year with that lovely big spreadsheet that we did with your SEO keyword and your quarters written down and your values and your everything else surrounding and your themes and that kind of stuff. We've done that. Okay. When we come to the supporting content, what we need to think about is every last piece of content that you're going to put out into the ether there has to be supporting that one major goal that you're putting out there. Okay. So for example, if you are selling 20 tickets to your family portrait sessions, we need to make sure that everything that we're putting out there is supporting that goal in terms of talking to families there, talking to young families there. Are you going geographic specific? Probably, Anthony, because you are, you're a Botley based business. If you are looking to run a virtual event like we are, and we've got Bridget there who's running a physical event there, we need to be removing blockers there. It's about understanding that what the event's going to entail, how much that event's going to be, what they can expect from that event, how do they need to be prepared for it, what kind of people you're going to attract, what kind of feelings are you going to emote there. Everything surrounding that content needs to be leading to them buying a ticket, signing up to a course, buying a physical product, whatever that is to you guys. And 3 simple words that what we need to remember is your concept, your keyword, and the content you're going to create from those two other things. Really, really simple. The concept. What do you want to talk about? What's in your head right now? What do you think you have inside you that really is going to help explain or get other people to understand what it is that makes you fabulous? What is that content? Is it going to be a video series? Is it going to be some how-tos? Is it that you really want to do some interviews with key guests on your podcast who are really going to be that high level, next level guest that is really going to help people see you as a thought leader potentially? The keyword, before you even start creating the content, thinking about the keyword that's going to help that content get seen by an audience wider than the one you currently hold on social media or on your email list or the current visitors to your website. We want to expand that. Everything we all do for being online is to expand our network, to build our presence, to increase our domain authority. So if we do that, and as Alan always says, if it's going to be out there, it needs to be optimized so it's working for you. So,
and let's not, sorry, just interjecting seriously for a moment. Ultimately, we're building an audience. We're building a community, an audience, followers, whatever you want to call it, right? In this particular instance, it's semantics. And you're going to build it. You are building it in a number of ways, by going networking, by social media. What this is doing is something you're already creating can then actually go and bring people into your ecosystem whilst you're asleep. This is the principles of our digital visibility model. Literally everything we talk about. If you are putting something on the internet, it should be working harder for you than just the initial people you're sharing the link to.
Yeah. So we understand the goal. We understand the concept that we can bring to the table there. We understand before we even start hitting record or putting pen to paper with our writing, we understand the angle we're taking with our keyword, because we know that that's going to hit the right spot with the right person out there that doesn't even know of us yet. I saw a really great post from one of our digital circus speakers, Rory Berry, the other day, and he said, in January, I'm going to have 3 of the most amazing new clients on board. I'm so excited to be working with them. It's going to be an amazing month. They just don't know that they're working with yet. And he hasn't found those 3 people yet, but he knows that by putting out the right content, they will find him sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And I love the way he framed that. He's looking for those people and he's putting himself there to succeed by making sure that he's optimizing everything he's doing. And then the third box there is your content. It's actually creating the stuff. And I think that's the most fearful thing that most of you in the room actually get to, is like, oh my God, I've now actually got to write it. No one wants to hear from you. You put those blockers in place. You're not very good at writing. You're struggling with putting yourself on camera, whatever that is. That is the thing that stops you. You know why you're doing it. You know what you're trying to achieve. You may have some semblance of an understanding of your keyword strategy there as well, but it's actually creating the content, whether you're time poor, you're scared, or you just don't know how to do it. But the content is what's going to help you get it out there and also shape your wider content strategy with your micro content that comes from having this larger piece of work done. Right. So we're going to do a quick team exercise, and luckily I believe we have an even number of you guys. So we're going to put you into a couple of breakout rooms, or a few breakout ones. And what we're going to do right now, real time, we are going to come up with a bit of a brain dump. So we're going to put you into pairs, and I want you to verbally tell the person that you're working with what your goal is going to be for this one. And I know you've written them down, but talk that through with the other person, okay? And from that goal, I want you to talk about why you think it's amazing, how it's going to help the person that you're trying to serve with that potential product service goal, or how it's going to help you, and ask that person, interview them almost, if you were looking for that, what would you be searching for? Use that as an example of how you can start to understand someone who doesn't know your service inside and out, what they might be talking about if they were to buy or hire or use your service or product. And from that, what I would like you to do is come up with 5 idea dumps that you can write down. They don't have to be the right ones forever. This is just an exercise of just starting to allow your brain to flex a little bit. 5 ideas that could come, that you could create from that goal. So whether it be a title based around what is the digital circus, or it could be the fact that you want to do a member spotlight, anything like that, start jotting that down and work with your partner to get 5 ideas each that you can pick one of today to start that process with.
How long have they got?
We're going to give you, what time are we on now?
20 past.
we're going to give you 10 minutes, so 5 minutes each. 5 minutes each. Do you want to do 7.5 minutes?
7.5.
7.5 minutes. Alan wants to have a little bit less time. 7.5 minutes. So it's really quick exercise.
It's like a gas. You'll always feel the allotted space available. So let's keep it short, sharp,
but the whole
less
point,
chatting.
The whole point of this exercise is to not procrastinate it. It's to start just flexing that brain and get things down that you could draw upon later on. So
practical thing, Laura and Sheba's, I kind of hope this is just Sheba's Otter AI. I feel quite excited if Sheba's just got her Otter AI to log in. But Sheba's Otter AI and Laura, I've put you in the same breakout room, so neither of you need to turn your cameras on and do anything.
But if either of you are available and the other isn't, come into the main room and we'll work with you.
But I think they both said they're not. So, and Sheba's not said anything. So that's what I think. Anyway, let's go. 7.5 minutes. See you in a minute. 7.5. Alexa, set a 6-minute timer. She didn't type in the chat. It's definitely a Otter AI plugin, which I'm loving the fact she sent it along to take notes.
It does meeting notes.
Really?
It's very cool. And not only that, right, you can connect it to your calendar, so it will automatically join the Zoom without you being there. So you give it your Zoom login and your calendar login, and it will just go to the meetings.
It's the best money. So we use Otter for transcribing anyway, but it's like £9 a month or something like that, and we use it all the time for our track because we do a lot of our client work and doing blog posts. But for the meeting notes as well, especially if we're doing like a one-day client and stuff, and we don't want to always have to think about writing the action plan afterwards, it's pretty much written for us before we even finish the meeting. It's clever. It's really clever.
That is very clever. I'm very impressed, Sheba.
Yeah, Sheba. Well done, Sheba.
Well done, Sheba.
Oh.
I feel like we should get her Otter AI to say
we were just discussing the merits of, because Sheba's not in the room, although Sheba's clearly here in the room. But Otter AI, does everyone know Otter? No. So Otter AI we use all the time because it's a really great transcribing service, and it's about £9-10 a month that we pay for it. But for when we are transcribing videos or client videos and things like that, it's really quick. But it's got a feature within Otter that it will come into Zoom meetings and it will do your meeting notes for you as well. So Sheba's not in the room, but it's going to transcribe the entire.
Just to add context, you can connect it to your diary and Zoom, so it will just automatically go into the Zoom and record the transcribe. Anyway, let's stay on track, Emily.
How did everyone find that? Did we get some ideas? You are so silent today. You're going, yep, yes, miss, don't make eye contact, because if you're going to make me answer a question, I don't want to do that. That's fine. I'm not going to make you any of you do that at all. Can you go back to sharing, please? I like bossing around sometimes.
I was about to say you can boss me around, darling, but then figured that would be inappropriate.
Okay, so we should have come out of that session, those quick few minutes, having thought of at least 5 bits of content that you could create as a part of that wider goal. Okay, and what I would like you to do for the purpose of this session is to pick one of those things, just one of those things, one that you think is achievable, one that you think is going to best reflect your product or service, and actually one that you could probably write in the next 24 hours without much issue, without much worry about having to research stuff you don't already know. You know this, you know your business inside and out. So what we're going to move on to from there is, after picking your concept, and we understand the
Vanda's put a private message in the general message, and it just made me smile. So I was like, oh, I've done my hair especially. Thanks for noticing, Vanda.
I love that. I always panic when I go to networking meetings and I'm having private messages, just in case I've done the wrong thing. Not that I ever do anything naughty, but if anyone knows Tim Brock, he gets into a lot of trouble. Yeah, the Vanda's, everyone knows Tim Brock like that. He is a naughty man. So you've got your concept, you've got the idea creation there of something you could create. The next part of this journey is to do your keyword search, okay? This is the bit where most people stumble. They start running for the hills because they don't understand the science behind it. When we're looking at keywords, and if you have the ability to right now, I would suggest that you open up Google Ads Keyword Planner. You should know by now because I talk about every single.
I'll put the link in the chat. We talk about this a lot, right? This is This
If you
is
don't, again, we can partner or we can help work you through that.
Oh,
We're
hold on.
going to go and work to find a suitable keyword that we can attach to the concept of the content you're going to create. Okay. Don't get too bogged down by the keyword. The great thing about keywords is that if it's not right and we work through this and in a few months' time you're not getting the results that you desire on that content, we can swap it out. We can change titles. We can add things to your body of your content. We can rewrite the script a little bit and we can make it better fitting so that it attracts the people that you want to see or hear or watch that content. So with Google Keyword Planner, it's a simple thing. We're going to go into the Keyword Planner, and for anyone, and for Alan, can we just go do a walkthrough to show that
on
Safari?
Yeah, I've just moved. I dropped something. Yeah, I can do that. Sorry, having a technical screen share challenge.
So just to remind you, have we got any fingers, thumbs up with people who've got it open? Yes. If you haven't, it's okay. We will walk you through it. So you're going to go into Keyword Planner on Google Ads. That's in the tools and settings, spanner at the top, under planning, under Keyword Planner.
And accounts are free.
What are you trying to do?
That's what I'm trying to do. Accounts are free with this. It's sometimes you have to go into expert mode at the beginning if it's kind of working anew for you.
And I want you to think about the concept, and I want you to think about what kind of keywords, without doing the research on it, what kind of things would you think people might type into the search bar to be presented with your content? So
for us, we want to get more bottoms on seats at the Digital Circus Live. So we're looking for small business owners who may want to be looking for a full day's networking.
Yeah. Online networking.
Oh, I love it when you get a really bad example.
Do networking events.
Because we will get a lot.
Okay, brilliant. So start with what we call a seed word, which is a shorter tail word, so 1 or 2 words in that of a broad term related to what you think you want to put out into the ether there. So we're starting with networking events. For us, that could be online business events. That could be online networking. That could be
women in business networking, Emily?
No. Sorry, everybody who's not in that joke. Can't stand them. Can't.
Right, move on.
Anyway, so we're going to pick one of those. And for us, online networking, business networking company wouldn't be, because that's looking for a company to maybe potentially run one for someone else on as a third party.
Oh, it's seen a lot of growth though.
It's getting a lot of people are working on networking businesses right now.
And also, we're not going to pick a near me, because that kind of implies that people want to go to it. We're global. We want people to come from all around the world. So that's not going to work for us either.
Executive networking groups is a great word, but that's not the time of target market we're trying to achieve there.
That's for people with ideas above their station. That's a joke. That's a joke. Yeah.
We're looking for things that are going to likely fit the fact that we're talking about online networking or online learning or online business growth, things like that. So think for you a broad term surrounding your key theme that you're trying to create there, and have a play, and again, spend a couple of minutes right now and see if you can find a good keyword that sits in the realm of what you're talking about. And the 2 numbers to look at here, we're looking at average monthly search volume, and we're looking at the competition. So what we're thinking about here is we don't want to go for a competitive word that's a high competition word, because you're going to be fighting against a lot of people to try and get onto that page 1. So low to medium is great. If you see the one that has a dash across it, if you're ever searching for that, that's also a good word. There's not enough search data on that particular term, so not enough people are using that right now. So that's a great one to hold on to, because that's an up and coming word that people may not be utilizing to their benefit right now. Search volume, we don't want to go above 10,000. In fact, we probably want to go a lot lower than that. So around the 100, 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000. although that sounds like, oh, there's only a few people, we don't want to get the entire world onto our content, you know, unless we are a huge blog and we need the volume of traffic. We only want the people who are interested in our products or service, and that could be very specific. I'm looking. We've got Laurie in the room. You know, you're looking at people who potentially might have an eating disorder or have their relationship with food slightly more unhealthy, or they are recognizing, and that's the biggest thing. They recognize that they might have an unhealthy relationship with their food right now. So then not everyone's going to be wanting to go to you. So the number is going to be quite small in that pool of people compared to something that's very broad, like business networking, which could be 100,000, because, you know, there are quite a few small businesses in the world there. So don't be put off by the average monthly searches. Be more concerned about the volume of the competition for that word, but see if there is a good fitting word. And if you're spending, when you're doing this by yourself, if you're spending more than 10 to 15 minutes on this exercise, you are spending far too long on it. Don't overcomplicate the process. I'm going to give you a couple more minutes.
Bridget, who's owner of a hip hop crew called the M4M crew, said hers is Harry Potter. So I just thought obviously Harry Potter is massive. So, you know, are you looking for
Harry Potter events?
Harry Potter events.
Yes.
So I put in my searches and the competition is high.
Yeah.
But the numbers are low. It's like 10 to 100, 100 to 1K.
Yeah, you are the unfortunate one to be in the beauty industry. Okay. So that there are always going to be highly competitive words in the beauty industry. So for you, again, it would be either, can you reframe it so that you're looking for a slide? And again, the difference with you, Nicola, in this particular room, and I don't mind saying this, is that you already have a high domain authority. You are an established brand with a high, your domain authority is well in the 30s last time we checked. In fact, it might be closer to 40. So you are probably one of the few people in this room who could probably go for a higher competition word right now, because you have the authority behind you to back you up, and you are likely to be searched for. So for you, pick the word that is most fitting to your subject matter and get that right, because if you're talking about, obviously you are about eco-friendly and better for your nail, even if you're not looking at, you know, lots of acetone and that kind of stuff, you're looking for the people who want to make that change and choice in their beauty products. So for you, focus on the words. And again, still in terms of the volume there, don't go over 10,000, but don't worry so much. And that's not to say everyone else shouldn't ever achieve high competition words, but Nicola is in that position where she's grown a brand for a good number of years now, and her domain authority is reflective of that.
You know, conversationally, we should all target a bigger, stronger, higher performing keyword once in a while, 1 in 10, couple in 10, because as everything grows, this is the principle of your ecosystem. Once again, as everything grows. So, you know, Google's always adjusting. So if you've got this lonely thing in on Harry Potter, for argument's sake, give it a few years of everything regularly growing, you could be ranking higher for Harry Potter. Now, it's a bad example. You're unlikely to win Harry Potter keyword, right? But, you know, that's the thing.
Vaishal, is there another keyword planner site, as I keep trying on your Google link and not getting the same page that you are? Okay. Are you logged into your Google account? Let's have a look. The only other one in terms of planner that might be worth you doing, and Nicola mentioned it to me the other day, and we've started playing around with it, is Keywords Everywhere. Now, that is a paid for app, but you pay for, I think, is it 100,000 words, Nicola? Can you remember? It's quite a lot, isn't it? It's about 10 quid for over 100,000 search terms or something. Oh, 100 is quite a lot. So if you're going to do this as an exercise, that is another really accurate, and it gives you quite a lot of data like this as well. That might be actually, if you're going to plan out a set of content, something like Keywords Everywhere is a good, worthwhile investment for sure, because you're not tied into a contract there. You pay for what you use. So that would be another one I would look at after this session as well. Keywords everywhere.
Bridget, I think you want to be looking around in this section where we're looking at, what did I see? Not Harry Potter adult party. That's something very specific.
She's like, no.
Sounds intriguing, but very specific. You know, I know you're not trivia, but Harry Potter trivia near me. Is this a virtual or an in-person?
In person.
Yeah. So something, though, you're looking, there will be a keyword like we did there. I always talk about our bell tent days because once again, they were very specific. We came up with a hen do package, changed this, and we realized do was the wrong word. It needed to be party. So we changed it to hen party package and it did very well. So yours is once again a bit more like Nicola's. Yours is very specific. The rest of us in the service industry, we're looking for people who want an answer to a question. Yeah. You're looking for someone who's looking for an event in their area, you know, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you don't do a blog about Harry Potter Zoom parties and the time you did this and get people in that way.
But you could also work around it. Yes, and I know that you want Harry Potter fanatics to be at that event. But that's not the be all and end all of this particular event, because people might be looking for themed parties. They might be looking for themed experiences. They might be looking for corporate activity days or different corporate. So you could look around, expand around just Harry Potter, because Harry Potter, again, will always be quite difficult to achieve in terms of competition because of the brand it's created.
Oh, bless you, Harry Potter.
But there's nothing to say that you don't use the Harry Potter terminology throughout the rest of your content as well to help build that, because those keywords will still be tracked as well. This is like looking for the headline where that's going to be in your title.
Yeah,
right?
and if it's, sorry, but one last thing, because we can't, I mean, I've just typed in themed murder mysteries and there's a load here that you could be jumping onto on your website and getting it working, and blogs and content and so on and so forth.
One more minute. What I'd like to do is, now I'm hoping you've all created a word, chosen a word. If it's not quite right at this point, don't worry. This is just the action of working through this process. Now put that keyword into a sentence. We want this to be your title for your piece. You haven't written it, you haven't recorded it, but I want you to put that into a sentence.
Can I just quickly ask?
Yes.
What is a really good measurement then? You said 10 to 1,000. I've come up with 100 to 1,000. Is that good?
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And if it's low or medium, is that the best?
Low or medium. And again, the 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000. Those two brackets on Google Ads Keyword Planner are brilliant. But don't shy away from the smaller ones as well.
Our best performing content is in the 10 to 100 bracket, because we get high engagement, we get consistent, highly engaged click-throughs.
And not only that, it's part of the overarching sharing. So we are sharing it organically. We're sharing that in our newsletters and we're sharing that in our socials as well. So we will still get a volume of traffic to our website from that. But we are thinking about what is going to be likely to get hit on and how many people will see that content.
Sheba's Otter Eyes had enough.
Okay, bye Sheba's Otter. Nice to meet you. Okay, from there, we're going to...
So for argument's sake, we could happily use online speed networking, and we could come up with a blog called Top 10 Online Speed Networking Events, where number 1 is the Digital Circus Live. Done. Sorry, I've just done it, Emily.
Well done.
Sorry.
Right, share screen.
Oh, we are. Hold on. No, we are sharing, so we need a new back to here.
Yeah. Would anyone like to share a title that they have created in the last 30 seconds? Yes, Jackie.
How to build your public speaking confidence.
Wonderful. That's a really good, short, sharp, snappy title. I know exactly what I'm going to get, and you haven't even written that content yet. Would anyone else like to share one? Nicola.
Nail polish remover pads for sensitive skin.
Beautiful one. Again, you understand exactly there who that is for.
It's a proper WYSIWYG. What you get?
Oh, I'm so sorry for him. Anyone else? We'll do one more share if anyone wants to.
Go,
Laurie.
Learn the non-diet approach to weight management.
Brilliant. Love that as well. Guys, you're on fire.
Explosions.
No explosions. No explosions. Okay. So what we now know, okay, we know what the overarching theme for our content is going to be. We know what kind of content is currently out there. Or I missed a bit actually. So go and
Funny enough, I was about to do that.
feel free to go and Google that particular phrase and see what's coming up on Google, what other blog posts are coming out there, what other videos are coming in, and just do a bit of due diligence. What kind of other content would you be pitting yourself against there? But we know
You should actually, yes, yeah, do
but
that.
do what you want first. How to research your surrounding keywords and how to assign a keyword to the content. We haven't written the content yet, but we know that that is a topic and a title that will be searched upon before we even do the legwork. You could do the titles for the next 3 months without putting pen to paper or pressing record on the video, because this is the same thing we would do for a YouTube video, guys. You could do all of your titles over the Christmas period and then assign the task of writing those blogs once a week, knowing that your framework is ready to go. You could pick on any of those titles in the next 3 months and get it working. So the content, let's get the content done. And we have 15 minutes to start the framework of this. Are we going to do it? Yes, we will. So what do we need to do? We need to write your introduction and your conclusion first, ensuring you have included the keyword. So right now, we're going to give you just 2 minutes to get a very broad 2 sentences done. I would like you to open out your blog post with 2 sentences, which include that keyword that you're going to talk about in the body of your post.
So we could put something like, so you're here to find out the top 10 best online speed networking events.
Yeah. Hold on to your hats.
Hold on to your hats.
So write 2 sentences, one of which of those sentences could have the keyword within that ideally.
And yes, mine might have felt slightly crowbarred, but it still flows and scans as a sentence. And every optimized blog ever has the keyword in the opening sentence.
Opening paragraph.
Opening paragraph.
Opening paragraph. Laurie's head is up. She's done. Gold star. Now, don't forget, this can be refined. We're doing it on speedily right now, just to kind of get that framework in place. You can go back and you can Shakespeare it up if you want to, make it all lovely and in your tone of voice, but it's just the idea of we can get this done quite quickly without overthinking the process.
I've already written our top 10 online speed networking events blog in my head.
Well done, Alan.
That'll be in Thursday's newsletter. No, it won't be.
But Nicola's head is up. Well done, Nicola. Vanda's head is up. I'll give you just a few more seconds. Okay, as we're finishing that up, the next thing I would like you to write down on your paper to be thought about when you write your blog in full is whereabouts within your current website, if this is going on your website, where else will you link to on your website? If anyone watched the backlinking training a few weeks back, the importance of creating pages and links within your site helps Google to understand what your website is about. It's that mechanism of getting them to go further into your site. So if, for example, Laurie's doing her post there and there is a particular service or another blog post that complements the one that you're about to write, or that there's a testimonial there, or a contact us page because you actually need them to come and make content, or there's a downloadable, where else makes logical sense for this content that you're going to write to go elsewhere further into your website. We need to put an internal link somewhere within this post. Just have that thought process where makes sense.
Sometimes if I'm really struggling to think of somewhere that makes sense, at the bottom I will just write find out more about us and link to our about us page. I have done that if I've really struggled in the past for an internal link, but it makes way more sense to send them down the rabbit warren of your fabulous content.
That kind of goes hand in hand with the bottom one. I haven't put that. Is what is your call to action? Don't forget, the purpose of a blog or a video on your website is to make sure that they stay, that is the vehicle to your site. They get their information, but they want to stick around. So what's that call to action? What do you need them to do? And try and be very clear across your blogs, if you especially have a goal in mind for the quarter. So for us, we bang on about it. We recognize you're already on board, but we have to be really clear of our message, which is come and find out more about the Digital Circus Live. So within our posts, we always have a banner advert in there, which will be the most recent event that we're sharing. We'll make sure that we can follow up with, here's a post about our speakers. Here's what the event is. Read this one about all of our speakers. We are very clear that all of our call to actions are based around the core goal for the quarter, because yes, it can be sometimes labor intensive. If you have lots of blogs, we can always change those call to actions later. It's not a difficult thing to do. You can go and change those links to something that are more relevant at that time. That's the beauty of optimized content. It's not one time done and that's it, never to be touched again. You can always update and change links if they need to be changed. The other thing I want you to think about is, who are you linking to off-site? So again, Google likes to see on your blog posts one internal link at least and one external link. So if you are collaborating, who are you collaborating with? Who makes sense? If you are using an external source as a fact, if it's a factual blog, who are you linking to? If you haven't got anybody at all that you can link to, because it doesn't make logical sense to talk about anyone else other than your particular business, then think about, are there other bits of media out there that you can link to based on your own business? So for example, are you linking out to YouTube, your YouTube channel? Are you linking to a recent post that you've done on LinkedIn or Instagram?
Or an affiliate link.
Or an affiliate link based on something that you know that you could help amplify, your own passive income there, but it's also going to be in keeping with your post. Always try and link to something relevant. And yes, it's great if you can link to a third party, if you're showing that you are spreading that net further out there and you're building online connections. But if you can't link to anybody else and it just doesn't make sense, always link back to yourself in some shape or form.
It's got to be pretty tough to not find something relevant to link to. I mean, Jackie, your podcast, you're linking to the guest, you're linking to the YouTube channel, and you can put an affiliate link to StreamYard. All my podcasts are recorded using StreamYard, blah, blah, blah. And there's usually something that can always be done with.
Yeah. And now what I would like you to do, again, just 2 minutes again, because I'm very conscious of the time and I want us to get through.
Sorry, Laurie says, would a link to Google reviews be valid or too close?
That's perfectly valid.
Yeah.
Perfectly valid, because again, in terms of who you're trying to attract and you're wanting to sense check that you are a trustworthy source of information and then you're a supportive, loving, fantastic individual. Why else? Why do we have reviews? Because we're trying to show social proof there that we are amazing. So absolutely share your reviews. That's brilliant. Okay, so yeah, the next thing was 2 minutes now. So we've got your introduction, your title. We want to break that down into some subheadings. And I would like you to create just 3 subheadings, 3 very short, sharp subheadings based on the content that you're going to create, and you're going to write 3 little sub paragraphs there with those headings. Just do a draft version now. How are we going to sort of segment that content? Because we don't want war and peace. We don't want a 1,000 word essay without any breaks in that, because again, Google will start to see those smaller paragraphs there and recognize them in their own right. So when you're looking at things like rich text and you're looking at snippets on Google, it's because they've extracted small bits of information based on your headings as well.
And let's remember what blog you're writing and who's likely to be finding it. So in our online speed networking events, they are coming to find an online speed networking event, not to find war and peace and my opinions on online speed networking events. So I could literally write that blog in a list if I wanted to, 1 to 10. I'm not actually, I've already changed it in my head to something else. But, if I was going to go with top 10 online, that's what you would do. Jackie, your one about confident speaking, it can be broken down into kind of just 3 or 4 sections. And
what this is also, I'm jumping ahead slightly, but it's relevant. What this is doing for you as well is, if you then chose to write a script for this, if you are a script type person, if you do video, or you're looking for a framework for a video, this is a really clear way of creating those chapters in your video for the purpose of YouTube. So You can record shorter bits without having to go, oh my goodness, I've got to do a 5-minute video and I'm going to really panic doing this. You can record per paragraph, almost per point, and stop, take breath, and go for the next one. All right. So it's a great way of just framing your video if you're going to take it into the video format there, or your podcast if you're doing a voice to audio type thing there. It just gives you that structure with your paragraphs, and it stops you from writing thousands of words per paragraph, because people are looking to skim read and extract the information that they need. Right, going to move on.
I'm sorry about this next picture. It's the one with me in the red.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Can't believe I'm embarrassed you put that up there.
Well, it was us drinking a cup of tea while you do all the hard work, basically.
Standard.
Okay. The next thing that you need to make sure you're doing, we're not going to do this in real time, obviously, but you need to create some cover art. Okay. And the importance of this cover art is the fact that it will be the backbone of all of your social media and all of your cover art across the internet, because the cover art needs to be snappy. It doesn't have to possibly have your keyword on it. It has to have a really good title that people will read on a small format. If you're thinking about on mobile view, if they're looking at your cover art in a sea of others, is yours going to stand out? But we need it to be available for your YouTube cover art. If you're going to put it on video, it needs to be your blog work cover art. It needs to be there if you're going to take that to podcast. We know that your images are searchable, so we need to make sure that when you're saving those files, when you're creating that cover art, you're saving it with the keyword that we've just worked out today. So onlinespeednetworking.jpg would be a great idea for a picture of speed networking. We're going to make sure that we're going to save that to our devices with alt text behind it, and the alt text should include that keyword. So a picture of Emily and Alan drinking a cup of tea with yellow cups, talking about online speed networking events. It's a great way of explaining what's in the picture, but adding that keyword in there, because we know that our images are searchable. And if you take it over to Google and you look on the image search, your cover art has the opportunity to be pulled out because you have taken the time to label your files using your keywords and add alt text.
And this is when we're talking about standing out from the crowd. This is when we mean you are literally standing out from the crowd, because you are dominating the top of that Google ranking for your keyword, because you are there so many times. Yeah. Here's a video in the chat, please don't watch it now, of where we shared how to make about 10 cover art as quickly as possible. And please do not underestimate the power of a cover art image. Think about what you click on. It's about the only time in sales school where it's allowed to shop for yourself. Yeah. Think about what you would click on based on the picture.
And then the last thing you need to make sure that you're doing with this blog post is in the back end of your website, when you are uploading your blog post, is to complete the metadata. The metadata is the bit of blurb that Google will pull up on the Google search page. Okay. And it will be, if you're on WordPress, it will have a slot for your metadata. If you're on Wix, it might be blog description. If it's Squarespace, I think it's description or SEO there. It gives you a box to fill that data in. You get about 60 characters, I believe. Make sure within that character you're explaining what your content is about, including the keyword. So we're layering that keyword through your title, in your introduction of your paragraph, within the various parts of your blog. If it is relevant, there's no magic formula to how many times you should repeat that keyword, but obviously if it's natural and it feels right, keep adding it in there because it strengthens that keyword position there, and make sure it's in your meta description as well.
We are going to run over a couple
of minutes. We're 2 slides away. Okay. So from that macro content, yes, you need to go and fill out the bulk of that content. Go and do that. Just do a really short, sharp 300, 500 word blog if you want to. Just get into the practice of that's how you start that process. It doesn't need to be overthought. You have that knowledge in your head. We just need to get it on pen to paper. From that macro content, what I would like you to do, again, we'll do this offsite, but it's 1 o'clock. I want you to take that macro content and I want you to think about all the ways in which you could exploit that macro into all of your micro content efforts. All right. So if you have written a blog post, could you record a short video based on reading your script potentially and reading it out aloud as a video bit of content? Yes, you could. Could you take each of your, let's say you've done a 5-point blog there, you've got 3 paragraphs there. Could you do 3 short snippet posts based on the 3 main parts of the body of that content. Share them on different days. Could you find a key killer quote there that you could share out? Because that's really heightening all of the stuff. Everything you're talking about is bringing it to that key killer quote, and they need to read more to find out more
Just
about
to help with that, that key killer quote could be written over an image that lasts 15 seconds with music, and that's a reel. And because people have to read it, you're not on that reel at all. It's just text, an image, and music. And because people have to read it, it will get good engagement because of the length of it and things like that.
Could you, from this, if you're doing an interview, see you later, like, could you do an interview with someone who collaborated to launch this content? Could you just take the artwork from your blog artwork, from the cover art there, and convert it into Instagram size, LinkedIn size, Facebook size, using Canva's resize magic tool there, and just share that natively to say, we've got a new blog post, go and read it as a native, and it's the same artwork, so people, their eyes start to recognize that face going through and all of those different posts across the internet. Okay, could you do a Google My Business post on this? Could you do a 5-part series of information there? Could you bring this into a larger series of stuff that you're doing? Take that content every single time, think of at least 5 ways in which you could share that. Now, you don't have to share all 5 of those things in 1 week. Don't forget that we are building upon this end goal in the next 3 months there. We're wanting to build upon that and layer it and bring it all into the fold. So it could be that if you're only going to write 1 blog a month, we want to actually bring that back into the fold in the next month. So actually, referring back to the month before, have you seen this snippet? Have you thought about my last guest? In last month when we spoke to Jackie, she said this. As we move on to the next blog this week or the next interview this week, we're going to discuss this point as well. So you kind of moving it around all the time, not letting that content drop, because it's still really, really meaty, important information that people may still want to absorb. So have it in your arsenal. It doesn't all have to go out at the same time, but when you think about the fact that you have nothing to post, or it's Christmas, or you're really busy this week and you need to schedule ahead, what you have created from that 1 blog, 1 video, 1 podcast is a suite of materials there that you can draw upon at any time to help fill that content schedule for you. And then really, last slide, rinse and repeat. You can do this process for one of that first 5 list that you created today, but you go through this process for all of those 5 things. You could get that structure in place. Like I said earlier, you don't need to have written that. You just have that structure in place. Spend some time over the quiet days, if you have quiet days over the next couple of weeks over Christmas, when people aren't necessarily booking you in for work calls and really sort of pushing you there with your admin. Spend that time getting a framework of content for January and potentially February there.
Yeah.
And rinse and repeat this process. Concept, keyword, content.
I mean, Emily's just said this, and I'm literally reiterating it in a different way. But we always say, for our model to work, you have to create macro content, right? And that's all right, you don't need to share.
No, there's one more picture.
Oh, you have to create macro content. And the minimum you should be creating is 1 blog a month, right? The minimum. But that's not to say you don't do that blog with 4 bits of micro content, as Emily said. So blog released hypothetically on the 1st of the month, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, micro content, micro content, micro content next month. We always say, if you look after your macro content, it will look after your micro content. And this is literally it. That's it. Merry Christmas.
I want to put that picture up because it makes us smile. And actually, so many of you in this room were actually there as well. It made a massive, honestly, we were so pleased to see so many of you. We were definitely going to do a summer event. Yes, I'm going to make it happen. So thank you, everyone who came along to that. And for everyone who didn't, we'll see you on
something last before you wrap up. Sorry, last week's members email on Friday, we put a survey in the beginning of it, 3 questions. That's all. And please, can you take the time just to fill it out if you have? Some of you already have. If you haven't done it, just because then it helps us make sure the Digital Circus stays relevant and on point and everything else in 2023. So yeah, last Friday's members email, whatever the date was, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, 8th.
Now, we get to go and watch a year our nativity this afternoon. That is what we're doing this afternoon. I'm very excited. More so, apart from that, Joe's is a camel. It hopefully might have their heating on there, and I might be warmer. So that's why.
Conversation on the barbecue. I keep having this idea of just putting out there that the networking event will be on the beach with a barbecue, right? And we're going to be there. Hypothetically, once again, 9:30 a.m. Friday. Come and join us. We've got a barbecue. That's been in our head for about 3 years. So who knows? This could be the summer for that one for anyone who's not in Dubai. So
come home, Vishali. Come home.
Yes. Oh, let us know if you are back for a prolonged period again, Vishali. Actually,
right. Everybody, go off. Have an amazing winter break, whatever you're doing.
Thank you.
We love you all, and we'll see you.
You're fabulous.
We'll see you on the socials, guys. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a fabulous Christmas, everybody. Lots of love.
Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, everyone. Party at Nicholas. She's on Hill Head.
Woohoo.
Yeah.